I was on TV, on Faith TV in Britain. 2007, I was on TV. With few people, 14 people, and I was on TV. And you know, when I was sitting down like this, I was sitting down in my house, and I was doing prophecies, just 2 or 3 prophecies. And like, you know, you've got 14 that come to church. You can do maybe 2 or 3 prophecies. And then you wait for another week to do another prophecy. And you know, you can't do, if you know, the whole church, if you do the whole, if you do a prophetic day, everyone has been prophesied to, they might go back to their houses. 14, then we went to 30. And we're now on TV in Britain. One day I was sitting in my house. The phone rang. And my wife said, there's somebody here who is claiming to have been sent by Prophet TB Joshua. I said, no, cut the phone. It's a lie. We cut the phone. The phone rang again. I said, give me. I answered. I wanted to shout at the person. But the person was so calm. Senior Prophet TB Joshua wants you in Nigeria. I'm like, how do you know I know about TB Joshua? I just watched him on the internet looking at TB Joshua. And guess what? When they saw the channel that I was coming on, and I was doing prophecies and all that. And in those days, it was only Prophet TB Joshua who was actually doing prophecies. And I'm looking at this, and I'm the only one there who has his own TV concentrating on prophecies. So now it's me and TB Joshua. But guess what? I'm the only one who is saying in TB Joshua. Guess what? TB Joshua is surprised to see the videos. It's like, where is this young man? Within 5 weeks, 2 weeks, sorry. Within 2 weeks, I was in Nigeria at the invitation of Prophet TB Joshua. Stayed there for over 8 days, I believe it was. Stayed with the prophet there. Notice here, when we were there in this corridor, as he begins to pray for people, he called me to stand next to him, and he started showing me what he was doing. Not that he was saying, see what I'm doing. You know when someone puts you next to him and say, follow, and then starts doing. So I was learning as we were moving. I was going. But in that process, we were given time to give our testimonies. And I said some statements of how he brought me to Nigeria at that time. That alone changed a lot of people. Like, you mean prophet invited you? Now I realized not all of us have been invited by the prophet. Some applied. But I was a young person with 30, 40 members, consistent. Of course, you know, African pastors can't count. If you would ask me at that time, I would say 100. Good are going to count there. One too many.
Do you know baboons can't
count? Now watch this. And African pastors act like baboons. How many people do you have? 2,000. 2,000. How many chairs? I need the help with my chairs, man. I have 200 chairs. You said you are 2,000 members. So imagine having the access to TB Joshua, who had the access and the ear of the world and presidents. And here I am, live, I'm sitting there, and they said, that is that young man who was in this location. And we're being filmed, and they shot. And now all of a sudden, TB Joshua is there. I have now been given access. And then the last day I'm supposed to leave. And the day I'm supposed to leave, I was supposed to leave the following day. And people were now being called in to see Prophet TB Joshua. I just went in there and I stopped the bell because you would ring a bell to say next. I could hear the bell every time someone comes in, goes in, comes out. Few seconds in, out. I said, I just went there and grabbed the bell like this. He started laughing. I said, don't touch this bell. I will tell you what I want to tell you. But notice what I'm trying to say here. The momentum of understanding access to a level where I said, I've gotten access now. Are you getting this? I remember one time, and I'll tell you this. This is something that I don't say a lot. I remember a prophet in South Africa, you know him, white man, very good teacher. But I think they had a run-in with Prophet TB Joshua and it was not good. And now I'm close to TB Joshua, but I've been invited to preach for the white prophet from South Africa. So I honored that. So I went there. But in that moment when I went there, that man was popular around the world. Cobus was popular. He had never invited any black preacher to preach anywhere near his pulpit. And do you know how he got me? Simple. I was coming from Mandela's house with Prophet Makandiwa. And then I got a call that there is a man who has been calling and calling and calling, and he says he wants prayer. I said, who is that? I said, Prophet Cobus. I said, that person, when he calls again, shout at them. They're lying. They said, these people have been calling. Then he called one of the guys we went with to Mandela's house. And we were with the guy. The guy said, yeah, he's been looking for you for years, for months. I said, okay, Prophet is going to Zimbabwe. I'm going to see Cobus. So I went there. And that's when the meeting happened where I needed to come for the conference. In that meeting, a lot happened. Even some apostles you see now in Nigeria, you know them by name. That's when they saw me. And they were young kids. In the sense of not too young, but they were still at university. And some of them were college. And they are seeing a man calling out names, white people coming out and crying and all that. It changes everything when it's another race, because people always think it's planned until another race is involved. Last week here, we had a man of God who has got a lot of members. He came here, you just didn't see because you don't know him. He was sitting there. And when we finished ministering, they brought him to me and said, hey, the man of God, you said you wanted to see them after. He's a man of God. I said, so I started seeing the pictures of the man with his big church. And when I prayed for him as he was leaving, I said, who told you about me? He said, Prophet TB Joshua. I said, where? When was that? And how? Why did it take you this long? He said, in a vision. Said, I saw TB Joshua in a vision. And he said, go to Prophet Angel. Remember one of the men that came here with his wife, and I was prophesying to them. Then afterwards, they told us they are actually on the video on the day Prophet TB Joshua passed on. They're on the video. Only after, that's when they said, we're on the video, we do this. I was there, I saw the angel. I'm the one who gives this testimony that I saw the angel. And the guy with beard that came here. But that access I got from Rodin Howard Brown, the access I got from Pastor Chris, the access I got from Cobus, the access I got from TB Joshua, if it was not presented well, my gifting, though big, would not be anywhere. No, they're missing this one. I know you're missing it. I see you're missing this. Are you hearing this? How was I going to be known in America? Faith TV was there, but it was just, we were not getting a lot of calls from America. We're getting many calls from Africa and UK. That's it. But it took Rodin Howard Brown to put me on the map in America. Are you hearing? It took TB Joshua to acknowledge me. For people who say TB Joshua was a prophet, and he was and still is, to say this man actually acknowledges Angel is a prophet. Listen to me. That means in the realm of the spirit, there is something that assigns mantles to people. But those mantles will be useless if you don't find a midwife. You see, when I'm prophesying to these apostles and you're an apostle, what am I doing? I'm announcing to them, to the world, so that their functionalities will be exposed and they begin to be people that can actually cause changes. So I'm using the platform God gave me to give them access. So my church is no longer belonging to me. Your church does not belong to you only. We are giving people access. We announce them. Our own members are seeing them. Members around the world are seeing them. Christians are seeing them. Well-meaning believers are seeing them. And they say, oh, so if the prophet says that's an apostle, that means that's an apostle. and that person carries more power, now their voice is now backed by a certain endorsement from the Spirit. That's why I look forward to see apostles and prophets and pastors, and I never feel threatened. I am major. I don't feel threatened. You see here?
Laugh News World. Networking the world with godly laughter.